Look, we've all been there. You're staring at your website analytics, right? You see hundreds, maybe even thousands of visitors just pouring in day after day. But then you check your inbox, and it's crickets. Absolutely nothing. It is literally one of the most hair-pulling frustrations in the digital world. You've put in the hard work, you've spent the marketing budget, but the big question just hanging over your head remains, why do your website visitors keep leaving?
Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into some fantastic source material called The Fixer's Playbook, Demystifying CRO. And honestly, this offers a massive paradigm shift. Because instead of obsessing over how to generate new traffic, which is what everyone usually does, it argues that we need to fixate on converting the traffic we already have.
Let's run through our roadmap for this explainer real quick. We'll start with the traffic illusion, then enter conversion rate optimization. After that, we'll hit fixing the customer journey, simplifying actions and forms, testing and building trust, and we'll wrap up with the digital ecosystem.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the traffic illusion.
So the material outlines a really interesting divide here, kind of like a leaky bucket scenario. On one side, you've got your SEO and your ads. Now, their only job is to bring visitors in. They're pouring water into the bucket. But on the other side is CRO, or conversion rate optimization. This is the stuff that actually turns those visitors into paying customers. And the hard truth? Relying on high traffic alone is honestly just falling for an expensive vanity metric if your bucket is full of holes. The water just slips right through the cracks.
Which brings us perfectly to section 2, enter conversion rate optimization. Okay, so what exactly is CRO? Well, the playbook defines it as the process of improving a website so that more visitors actually complete a desired action. Like buying a product or finally submitting that contact form. It's all about making that very next step feel incredibly obvious and totally natural for the user.
And you really have to notice the stark contrast in how most websites are managed versus how they should be managed. Typically, it's all about guessing and personal preference. Thinking a button should be red because, well, you just like red. But true CRO, it's entirely evidence-based. We're pivoting completely away from just guessing what visitors want, and instead we're scientifically studying what they actually do.
Moving right along to section 3, fixing the customer journey.
Before you change a single thing on your site, you have to track that customer journey. And there's a very logical progression here. First, you look at the pages they enter through. Then, you track the specific sections they view as they scroll. And finally, you pinpoint exactly where they decide to leave. By using tools like heat maps and session recordings, it's like a giant puzzle coming together. Suddenly, all those hidden friction points just become visible.
To put that into perspective, imagine a visitor hits your service page. They're interested, they're scrolling, but then they hit the contact form, and bam, they abandon the page. So, what happened? Did they just rage quit because there were way too many fields to fill out? Or maybe the messaging was just confusing? The whole goal here is to play detective, pinpoint that exact roadblock, and eliminate it for good.
Let's get into the weeds a bit with section 4, simplifying actions and forms.
Now, a super interesting takeaway here is that good CRO is not just slapping massive, flashing buy now buttons everywhere. That doesn't work. You absolutely have to match the call to action, the CTA, to the visitor's actual intent. So if they are just reading an educational article, a download free guide button is perfect. But what if they're on a pricing page? Well, they're ready to inquire, right? So the action there needs to be immediate, clear, and completely frictionless. And when they do finally click to inquire, for the love of conversions, keep the form incredibly simple. Seriously, long, complicated forms absolutely kill conversions. A name, an email or phone number, the service required, and a short message. That's the whole shebang. For most local businesses, asking only for the information you genuinely need is more than enough to get the conversation started.
Up next, section 5, testing and building trust.
So you've simplified things, but you also need to inspire confidence to get them to actually click. We're talking about essential trust builders, client reviews, case studies, crystal clear service information, guarantees, and professional contact info. But, and this is absolutely crucial, these trust elements have to be placed right next to your important conversion points. Seriously, do not hide your glowing case studies on some separate page that nobody ever visits. Put them right next to the form to eliminate any of that last-minute hesitation.
0. That represents the exact number of assumptions you should be making about what will actually work. Because, honestly, even the so-called best practices don't work every single time. That's exactly why testing is non-negotiable.
By comparing different headlines, different layouts, and different offers, we step back and let the actual data tell us what wins, instead of relying on our own personal preferences.
And finally, wrapping things up with Section 6, the digital ecosystem.
When you look at the broader landscape, optimizing that little slice of conversions naturally expands the value of your entire marketing effort. It's a real game changer. CRO doesn't replace your SEO or your paid ads. Those are obviously still vital for bringing visitors in, but it is the ultimate multiplier. It simply ensures that the money you're spending on those ads actually pays off.
The source material leaves us with this really compelling thought. A better conversion process can help clients generate more value from the traffic they already receive. And whether you're a business operating in Australia, the UK, or the USA, the core principle is exactly the same. You don't always need to go out and buy more traffic. You just need to extract more value from the people who are already standing right at your digital door. And if you're wondering how to actually execute all of this, the playbook notes that groups like Intramind Solution step in to provide professional CRO services. They do the heavy lifting, analyzing websites to find those hidden problems, improving the customer journey, and offering agencies the dedicated support they need to actually implement this evidence-based playbook.
So I'll leave you with this provocative question. Are you ready to stop guessing and start actually converting your existing traffic? It just might be time to put the assumptions away and apply this evidence-based approach to your own digital ecosystem. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. It's been a blast unpacking this with you, and I will catch you in the next one.